Guys, big thanks to everyone who liked, commented, and subscribed to my channel for my first video. I just wanted to make a quick video reacting to the Dodgers signing Teoscar Hernandez. I think I pronounced that right. For 1 year, $23.5 million. First thing that jumps out to me about this deal is that there's deferred money in it, similar to the Shohei Ohtani deal. I think $8 million, if I remember correctly, was deferred. So that just seems to be a trend for the Dodgers. Makes me wonder if other teams are going to start doing that as well, or if there might be some type of crackdown from MLB and an upcoming labor agreement. If owners don't like that the Dodgers are doing this with all this money deferring, allowing them to sign more big free agents than they might be able to otherwise, maybe like a little workaround to the richest teams in baseball being able to sign all the best players and dominate like they used to. But yeah, I think this is an amazing signing for the Dodgers. I was surprised that they were able to get Teoscar for just 1 year. They had been linked to him ever since the Ohtani and Yamamoto signings as like a big right-handed bat that could complete their lineup. And where there's smoke, there's fire, but I thought it was more likely they might sign a guy like Tommy Pham, for example. When I heard Teoscar Hernandez, I was like, oh boy, Dodgers ready to overpay another player past his prime, just to sort of cap off a great offseason and, make it seem like their lineup is more cemented or whatever, even though Teoscar might just be marginally better than someone like Chris Taylor at the end of the day. But the fact that they were able to just get him on 1 year is perfect. I mean, it's the best of both worlds. It's exactly what you want as a team like the Dodgers. They don't need to be signing a guy like that for multiple years in his 30s. His last 2 seasons haven't been as good as his best seasons in Toronto when he was in his prime. So it's likely he may not be too much better than, again, like a much cheaper option that they could produce internally in the near future. Like one of their best outfield prospects, Andy Pages, is in AAA. He might be ready soon. But just getting him on 1 year is a no-brainer, especially because in a contract year, he has every incentive in the world to put up his best numbers as he possibly can. So, again, just surprised that they were able to get him for just 1 year. But, in a relatively unimpressive free agent class, I thought that might boost his value, and I'm sure he could have gone to other teams for multi-year deals. But clearly he wanted to play for the Dodgers, and that's, kudos to them for having their dominance on the free agent market be a selling point. And again, maybe that's part of the reason why him and Ohtani are willing to defer money, because it's just such an attractive location and they want to win a World Series. But this, offseason very much feels like the Dodgers just dominating, pushing all in, having their cake and eating it too. They still have one of the best farm systems in all of baseball. They've been able to sign all of their top marks. I mean, even get a guy like Teoscar, who's a really solid, like right-handed power, middle of the order type of bat, on just a 1 year deal. As far other implications, I'm wondering if this could be a sign of another big trade ahead for the Dodgers, mainly because ever since they signed Mookie Betts, they committed to Mookie Betts being their everyday second baseman this year, which I thought was a really interesting move. Or maybe not even a move. I mean, maybe it was as simple as Mookie just saying, hey, I prefer playing the infield. I want to play second base more than right field. And then the Dodgers complying with the demands of their best player. But when they committed to playing Mookie Betts more or less every day at second base, it really it opened up holes in their outfield that they were going to have to sign, and they did. They signed Jason Hayward and now Teoscar Hernandez, and also traded for Manuel Margot. But then it's like, okay, well, what becomes of Miguel Vargas and Michael Bush, like two recent top 100 prospects, two of your more promising young players, uh, a guy in Miguel Vargas who they just had nothing but great things to say about last year. He was their starting second baseman last year. Had kind of an underwhelming season at the major league level, but he's still young. Um, I was surprised. I thought that they would leave second base open for those guys and others to compete for, because that's one of the only positions they can play. They're not going to play third because Max Muncy's there. They can't play short, and Gavin Lux is there anyways. Um, they don't have much of a track record in the outfield. I thought that they might take a crack at one of those guys in left field. But now that Teoscar is there this year, and Shohei's locked up the DH spot, it's tough for me to imagine them getting any at bats at all. And if the Dodgers don't trade those guys, they're just going to rapidly diminish in value if they say, have a mediocre season in AAA or don't really get any better. Right now, those guys both still have a lot of value. Michael Bush coming off a year where he dominated in AAA. He's clearly major league ready. Miguel Vargas, still young enough, can play multiple positions. Like, I think teams would really want those guys. And the odds that the Dodgers, I mean, right now it's not looking like either of those guys have a path to playing time for next season. And in future seasons, unlikely that they're both going to get playing time. So I think one of those guys would be a no-brainer trade candidate. Another piece that I would definitely expect to get moved by the Dodgers in the near future would be one or multiple of their incredible treasure trove of catching prospects. The Dodgers have by far the best farm system in all of baseball with regards to catching. Really unusual depth of phenomenal catching talent, which they've been consistent with in years prior too. I mean, they produced Will Smith not long ago, one of the best young catchers in all of baseball. And now they have two top 100 prospects that are both catchers. Both probably going to play in Double A this year, so they're hot. They're coming right behind them. Also, Hunter Fiducia, a top 30 prospect in Triple A who performed pretty well. And then some lower level guys with tremendous upside. A guy named Tyron Lorenzo. Wouldn't be surprised if he was a top 100 catching prospect soon. Really had a tremendous year in Single A as a 19-year-old switch hitting catching prospect. Also, another guy, I'm forgetting his name, Yiner Fernandez, I think it is, and Jesus Galiz. I mean, they just like, there are a lot of teams that don't have a single great catching prospect, and the Dodgers have five at least. And considering they have one of the best catchers at the major league level in Will Smith, still young, under team control for a long time, they're gonna trade a catching prospect at some point. They can't keep them all, and I can't think of a better time than now. Again, while they're still young and they still have a lot of value. Two of them are top 100 prospects. That's another place where I thought they might try to turn one of those guys into a DH, especially some of the more hit-first catching prospects like Dalton Rushing and Diego Cartaya. These guys have big bats that'll play up anywhere on the diamond. But now that Shohei is going to be there probably for 10 years, it just leaves no spot for him. I could see them trading Will Smith potentially like on the last year of his contract if they think that one of these guys can be just as good or better, but that's a ways away. So I just think there's a good chance the Dodgers are going to make another huge splash soon on the trade market, probably for a starting pitcher, even though they don't need one. I think their rotation for this year is incredibly strong, as is their rotation for 2025. Is like video game stuff. Could maybe be one of the best rotations in baseball history on paper going into the year. with Shohei coming back and Yamamoto and Glasnow and Bobby Miller, and maybe they re-sign Clayton Kershaw and Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin get healthy. Like, they don't at all need someone like a Dylan Cease or to trade for someone like Shane Bieber and extend him. But they easily could, and when there's smoke, there's fire. And when you have this many good prospects that aren't going to get playing time, some of them are going to get flipped, and uh, now seems to be as logical of a time as ever. So don't be surprised if any day now you see, maybe sooner than later, because they have to clear a 40-man spot for Teoscar, if you see something like, Michael Bush, Dalton rushing one of their pitching prospects like Gavin Stone and maybe somebody else for a top pitcher. I mean, that's a package they could put together without batting an eyelash. Those are all guys they're probably going to have to trade soon anyways. And I'm not sure that would get it done for a guy like Dylan Cease, but it would be a damn good start. I mean, you're talking about two current top 100 prospects, the catching guy would be a top 100 prospect, but Michael Bush and Miguel Vargas, recent top 100 prospects, Gavin Stone, a top 100 prospect, plenty of other pitching prospects they could flip, outfield prospects they could flip. So now that Teoscar's locking down that spot in left, Hayward and him will be free agents next year, but you got a guy like Andy Pages who could step up. They could move Mookie back to right. They could sign other guys. I think, their pitching staff, while it's great as is, it could get even stronger. I mean, you picture a guy like Dylan Cease in there. Imagine if they had Yamamoto, Glasnow, Bueller, Cease, Bobby Miller as like their top five going into this year's playoffs. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. Clearly, the Dodgers are all in. They don't have anything to lose. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised if there's another big move right around the corner.